part of the expanding, Lisa asked me yesterday, so are you turning the phone off in the evening? Are you recording? And I sort of said, I'm mostly doing it during the day. Obviously, it's like working during the day and I relax in the evening, but there are times, and I am able to, if I felt inspired at 11 o'clock at night to come out and start a recording, I could. Normally, that's not an option. That would never be an option. There would be no point in experiencing inspiration if I can't do anything with it. So it doesn't come if enough time goes by when you don't. Having this time, using it creatively, putting myself into a situation where I might talk, where I can talk, and then talking spontaneously, just doing what needs to be done. Just before, as I get up, I don't think about, I have no intention of lighting some more incense, but as I see the incense, I know I want to light it and just do. And it all happens thoughtlessly. It just happens. It's a flow, and it's my natural state. We all have that thing where we walk into a room and then have no idea why we're there. Why did we come here? What are we here for? Sometimes, oh yeah, and then we get it. But other times it's quite a struggle. Don't remember at all. I move about in that state. That makes more sense to me, so that it can flow. I get out of the way. If I go into a room and I don't know why I'm there, then I don't need it then. Either it will come to me, I'll discover it, or I won't. So the quicker I can carry on, the quicker I accept that and just move forward without needing it to, without dragging it with me, without feeling affected by the fact that that has happened. 9 times out of 10, I then find it. I then understand either what it was or why I don't need it. And even the occasional 1 out of 10 where it just seems no longer relevant because nothing more happens with it. And the practice of letting go, of accepting, allows even for that to be okay. That to truly open the pipe, it might be necessary for the thing that creates what we know as the personality structure, that comes out of the beliefs and the definitions and the actions and the memories of me or those around me. It may be necessary, or it may be that the result of is that that has to go in order for the pipe to truly open. That in order to truly let this through, I have to actually get out of the way. I have to actually no longer do it. And whatever that looks like, whatever that actually means, it could be that that's what I'm going to. That's what I'm doing all this for. That feeling I've had, I'm okay if it's time to go. It's okay. There doesn't seem to be anything more. There's nothing I have ambition for, nothing that needs to happen, nowhere I want to go, nobody I want to see or have to see. No, nothing. I don't have to eat that food or play that game or all of the things that I've done many times before that have seemed to be the thing for me to do, I no longer want to do. So, something else now, please. What's next? And then let go of that. Let go of focusing on what isn't, what doesn't, or what I seem to feel is a problem, unless I'm willing to consider the fact that it's only like that because there's something that's going on in me that I have to understand. If I am here, then I am meant to be here and need to be able to be here as me, no matter what. What was behind comes forward. There's room for the little recordings now that can respond to a moment's insight, something that I feel I need to say to get that out now, to release that. There's not loads waiting, much has been said. It seemed like the voices wanted out and they were building, and as I was recognizing the need for it, so life had planned, and you could say that the opportunity would arise, that I would just take the opportunity, realize the value in it and use it to the best of my ability, make the most of it in a way that I feel rewarded by, I feel released by, I feel better as a result. Nobody knows what I'm experiencing. They only have an idea peripherally, if they think about it at all. None of these recordings have been seen by anybody. I seem to just make sure that they're made. I make sure they're backed up and can't be lost easily. And know, in a sense, that I'll know what to do with them and when. Right now, it's interesting because in the past it would have been very tempting for me to have wanted to earth the thing I'd expressed, because I would have such a strong feeling that it had such authenticity in it, that my duty was to put it out there, to give people an opportunity to find it and listen to it if they wanted to. That it sort of, I was called to do it, that it was that, it felt that important to me. Often that feeling subsided, it didn't last, but it could sometimes motivate me to get dressed again and walk up to where I would have to go to. The weather could be cold or wet, and I would know that if I just got to this place where they had free Wi-Fi that was fast enough and I could upload something very simply, or just that they had Wi-Fi when I didn't have Wi-Fi at all. So I couldn't even accept the slowness, but just be patient. Just wait, not use anything else, not do anything else until it's too much. It would take too long, would interfere too much. So I would make the effort to get up there, and I would be excited about doing it. So it would overcome the inertia that I just wanted to stay warm and dry and in this state, and not realize the effect that the outside world would actually have on me in taking the journey up there. So that by the time I got there, and I had to be in a resistive state, earplugs in, it was very noisy, it was occupied by people there for other reasons than just using the Wi-Fi, I might not feel like I can now do it. And often I would stop. I would actually come to understand that I don't understand why I allowed myself to. What's the point? Why couldn't it wait? Why have I made this journey only to discover that I'm not going to complete it, and then walk slowly back contemplating that? I don't have the urge. Again, there is a natural barrier. It is possible to overcome it if one was needed to. There is internet here, but it's extremely slow. and I wouldn't attempt to upload any videos. And even though I have had the idea that I could walk the few miles to the place, not quite so noisy as the place I used to do it, but I would still require earplugs, and maybe I'll find connection that it seems to not be urgent. Like somehow the urgency is just to create, just to have the record of it in a way that it goes far beyond the audio, which I've been doing and can even do. Was just beginning to find a way to do again in the room with somebody else in the house, with knowing that Mum was here. I still sometimes get a bit jittery if I hear that, as long as I can hear the television on, she's not hearing. I'm not talking that loudly, but every so often there's a creak of the floorboard and a paranoia comes in that I'm being listened to and overheard, and somehow that's not right. And actually that's not true either. She's just doing her own thing. There's sometimes the noise in the floorboard from a expanding pipe. It's not the same as being completely alone and being able to express it freely at any time, in any way, at any level, volume, intensity. That's essential to be alone. But I just started to be able to make at least audio recordings, and this happened. This operation time came to, so that I didn't do too many and could channel it all into this visual thing instead. That makes more sense. I can see that properly now. I only had an idea of something. It wasn't given to me in a fully finalized package of knowing. It was just what I needed to move me, to get me started to move, because it's still a journey. I couldn't have started like this, saying things like this way. I had to sort of progress up to it. Whether or not you see that, it's available, it can be seen. Whether or not it's something that is interesting, it would take time. There's quite a lot of it. I don't know. Maybe all that matters is that I get to express it the clearest I can during this time that I have to practice it, to get it out. And maybe it depends on what I get to say, and if at the right moment the things align, if everything aligns and it's flowing and I get it out, and then something could happen from it. Something that's needed. And that's as far as I am. So again, you're with me, we're caught up. That I'm taking you with me, that if I have significant thoughts about things or some feeling comes, I no longer have to keep it to myself. I can immediately express it in a way that captures it exactly as it is. And that frees me from feeling like it's waiting, it's not in potential anymore. So I'm lighter, which then makes it possible for me to go further. Something else now can come through that the lightness produces. It allows this, it gives space for. It's ready. And so that's that. I like that. And that's what I think is happening. And obviously I can't go beyond it, because then I wouldn't be experiencing it in the way that I need to. I can't know what this means, what's happening, what's coming from it. I'm only just doing it. I'm in it. I'm going through it. It's happening. And even talking about it is interesting, because in a sense I'm still speculating. There's still aspects of future idea sort of lurking around the periphery. But when I stop recording shortly, then I sort of go back to my neutral space. I might recharge physically, I might quench thirst or feel stomach. I might lay down and go back into a sort of semi-vegetative state to just be, until such time as it happens again, if it does. There's time, so maybe it will. I'm being surprised constantly with what comes out of what I start to say and how I say it. And what you're seeing right now feels like it's most comfortable. The eyes closed definitely makes sense, especially as it gets dark. and it starts to get a bit bright from the light, I would want it off, but it's needed. It just helps. I'm sure that it could go dark and I'm here, there's nothing to see, so you'd still listen perhaps, but then you can see me, but my eyes are closed, and it actually feels more comfortable, and I don't have to be looking, and sometimes I don't even know in which direction I'm looking, and that I liked very much.